Hello and welcome to Game Soup. This is a game design podcast where we throw ideas in a pot and see what's cooking. I'm Kayla, she's Chloe. How good are games, Chloe?
Games are good. I'd love to play one sometime.
When did you last play a game?
If we're talking like a tabletop RPG, it would have been months ago when I left my friend Amy's D&D game. I
Mm.
continually try to get playtests going in my local friend group, and they're all just like, "Oh, it sounds fun. I'm busy though." And Alyssa was trying to get Triangle Agency off the ground. I'm just like a bad example of a game designer. I just don't play games.
I think that's probably more common in game design than you think. It's also not like you don't play games. It's more that like it is hard to. I do think to some extent, I think like, yeah, the biggest weakness honestly the biggest weakness, but like I think my games would be better if I got to play more often. I think I've played mildly more recently than you, but I've not played a game this month. But I think I did play something in October, unless my memories gotten muddled, which it very well might have been.
Yeah.
Um, but it feels like a weird thing to talk about because I'm like, yeah, I'd like to play more games. I'd like to have ultimately a more active social life. It feels bad. The thing that affects my work is also a thing I'm unsatisfied with uh, in my life in general.
Wow.
Now I've got a better internet. I am like, oh, I could play more games online again. So I've joined
Yeah.
some discords. It's always a fit. I'm always like, every now and then I get down about it, and I'm always like, well, I can always start trying to
Yeah,
do.
if I could put more effort in, sure, but
But
whinging's more fun.
you're not gonna.
No.
I said last week that we should pick up Time Loop Town. Did you think about it at all in between
I thought
recording?
about it in as much as being in the car, I'm like, oh, Kayla wants to talk about time loops. I can't really think of anything. Oops, I'm drifting into the next lane now. Like,
Oh no, I'm in a head-on collision.
woohoo.
So I,
Time loop
I
where you're
had
stuck in a
some.
car crash.
Well, that was the thing because I said like I think last week we were saying like, yeah, so a big shared area of everyone in a time loop, and like virtually everyone in it is aware of it. Is the twist like a time loop town? Initially, I'd said maybe there's some kind of disaster that ends it rather than people en masse needing to figure it out. I was thinking like I think you could do this where it's just like, oh yeah, like a whole town is stuck in a time loop and there's nothing catastrophic happening at the end of that loop. But I think that's more like a short story or something about Time Loop Town, or maybe that could be the background for a solo game. But I think
yeah.
if you're doing this as a multiplayer RPG, you need either some catastrophe at the end, or a thing I thought is there is a murder in Time Loop Town, which starts off the time loop, and so you're trying to. It's a who done it in a setting where every single person is stuck in and aware of a time loop. And so there's yeah, I think that's maybe the interesting way of doing it as a game.
Yeah. So, everyone's a suspect, and you have to use these reoccurring loops to try to figure out how this person keeps dying. It's kind of like Happy Death Day.
Yeah, a bit of that, even though I've not seen that, but I'm aware of it. I think like I guess there's also the obvious thing. Presumably, the beat will be stopping the murder implicitly will end the time loop. And logically, everyone openly should want to end the time loop because they're all stuck in it. But is one person, secretly keeping it going because they want this murder to happen or trying to find a different way? I think maybe you could do something fun with like a hidden role kind of thing or
Yeah, it's
something
like they're trying
along
to have a
those
perfect
lines.
day and finagle things so they make £1 million or something in the lottery, but they can't also do that and stop the murder or whatever.
Yeah, or I even meant like just they are the murderer. Maybe is what
Well,
they're
true.
wanting to do. But like, yeah, I think there's maybe something fun to that. I don't know if you could. I think the interesting challenge there would be trying to figure out some kind of almost like belonging outside belonging way of doing a whodunit would be what I would find probably fun about that.
Yeah. To be fair, a few years ago, I did have an idea for a Tales from the Loop adventure, which was in a time loop where
Mm.
the idea was that there'd be like a new kid in school or whatever whose dad works on the stable like hadron collider or whatever around the town, and they find something outside on the day that this kid arrives, but it turns out that they finding this thing protects them from the time loop, like makes them aware of the time loop. So they have to work out why time is looping, but this new kid in school is also immune, and it's like, oh, so they're
What
clearly involved, and it's like, oh, has something gone wrong at the collider or something? It's like they have to try and work out how to get into the base and whatever inside this time loop. It's like something's going wrong at the base. I don't know.
that's that's a fun idea. Whatever happened to it?
I think I wrote down some notes for it and stuff, but like none of my friends wanted to play like 80s detective stuff, so I couldn't really test it or anything. I don't know. Um,
Yeah, yeah. That tying back into the beginning of our episode.
yeah, woo.
I think let's move on from time loop town. Let's end the loop. Do you want to go to a random word generator, or did you want to talk about Wicked?
Yeah, so I mean, Wicked comes out this weekend, and it is going to be the busiest weekend of the year at the cinema that I work at. Because this year's been shit for movies, basically. But yeah, everyone's on kind of DEFCON, whatever the bad one is. Um,
One. It goes down, I think.
sure. We're on DEFCON 2 at the minute. On Friday, it'll be DEFCON 1. Um,
Yeah.
and it's looking like we're not even going to get a staff screening for it. Like, we normally get to see films early for like the big releases. So, morale is at an all-time low. So yeah, I'm thinking, is there anything we can do with Wicked or cinemas or anything like that?
Um, I'm not sure. I don't know if there's anything we can do with cinemas in general. Like, I'm not, but with Wicked, what I was thinking, just because you'd said like doing something with Wicked off mic, I was like, maybe there's a version where like the game is doing a Wicked to a Wizard of Oz or another thing, like where you're do a game of doing a prequel to something where you're like, actually, the villain is good.
Yeah. Actually, it's a high school AU and everything was Yuri the whole time. What else can we do this for? I guess, like, the first thing that comes to mind is, like, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Aslan and the Ice Queen were secretly college roommates. Uh,
Yeah, is this a game where we have done something already and the game is we're doing a prequel to whatever? Or is the game the players do the prequeling? You know what I mean? Or am I not making sense there?
no, I get, like, we could, like, pitch some, like, the game comes with, like, pre-ideas for something. Like, oh, I don't know, we pick a property or, like, an existing game or something, and then we flip it around. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe that is a little thin. Maybe we do need to pick something and give it a wicked.
Yeah.
So Narnia's under copyright, so we could do Narnia, but we would have to be a parody. Should be
Yeah.
fine. We'd get away with that. Uh,
My
I
God,
mean, Narnia is a very interesting thing. Maybe I was going to say it's a more interesting thing for you to do than me, because obviously, like, Narnia is a big Christian allegory. So doing a Wicked prequel would very much be from a presumably anti-Christianity or religious trauma point of view, right?
I'd suppose I never really understood the whole it's Catholic Christian shit other than my priest constantly talking about it, and it's just like, yeah, I don't see it though. I know he comes back from the dead, but like, so does Voldemort. Is Voldemort Jesus?
Isn't it also like Narnia's kind of heaven?
Yeah, Father Christmas is there. I don't really. I was like 9 when I read these books, so
Yeah, it's not like an ultra ham-fisted metaphor. They're still able to be enjoyed.
yeah,
Like Twilight is more Mormon than I think
Yeah,
Narnia is, you know, Christian in
Tradcraft.
terms of
Yeah,
it. Maybe that's not entirely true, but like one of them is more distracting, is what I mean.
yeah.
I guess maybe it depends how far into the books you go. Or were you going to pitch another property we could do this to?
I mean, my brain just gave me the realization that Doctor Who has built in they were high school friends for the Doctor and the Master.
I mean, that is the built-in explanation of like a lot of that's a common fiction thing. A lot of versions of Superman will do that with Clark and Lex Luthor.
Fair.
I think Batman's one of the only. Well, though actually, I guess Absolute Batman, he's high school friends with a lot of his villains now. But usually, I was going to say mostly he isn't. But
I mean, I know we've been
Spider
going to this.
Man's Green
We've been going to
Goblin
the
or
superhero well a
Harry.
lot recently, but like I can see like we do like a game about doing AUs for like high school like superheroes or something, and like it's about
I think
it's
it's
not
interesting difference of how we maybe a slight difference in how we're seeing Wicked, because I'm thinking of Wicked doing a Wicked as like okay, picking a version where like the villain is much more sympathetic and trying to recontextualize the original thing, whereas you're thinking high school AU.
high school AU lesbians, misunderstood, actual freedom fighter versus performative woke girl. Uh,
Hmm.
yeah, I don't know. I guess like yeah, secretly the master has been he's been wanting to bring about the correct timeline that the doctor actually secretly broke, and that's why he wants to kill the doctor or whatever. I don't know. Like we do
Mm.
like I think yeah, like a prequel game where you play as the baddies in a superhero media at this high school and like oh Bruce Wayne is there and he's the high school bully while you as the Joker are like a nerd who is really into science and like chemicals and stuff. And oops, Bruce Wayne spilled my chemicals all over me, and now I'm white. Now I'm green, and I like to laugh a lot. Like,
I hate this idea so much.
yeah, I don't think it's going anywhere. This is a fanfic. This is not.
Yeah, I feel you're just pitching bad fanfic. Maybe we move on from Wicked and go to the random word generator.
Yeah, let's swiftly move on.
I've pitched a change for how we do our random word generator, which I'm going to explain to the listener while Chloe loads up. So Chloe's got the regular random word generator. We'll get one or two words, whereas I have grabbed a random genre picker, and so I'm going to be picking specifically a genre, which hopefully should give us some more interesting twist.
Yeah. So the word I've got is monopoly.
Okay, the genre I've got is Western.
Okay, so I mean, I'm not doing the board game Monopoly. I'm thinking it's you are rival land barons in a western town, a series of western towns, uh, trying to like I think there's maybe a board or something, and you're trying to work out where the next gold rush is going to be, and maybe it's a hex crawl or something. Um, and you have to like hire gunslingers and stuff to
Yeah, I could
protect you on
definitely
the
see
frontier.
that feels like an interesting board game. My gut is
Yeah,
like, as an RPG, the easiest way to flip would just be there is one Baron who has the monopoly on the gold mine and is the villain,
true.
and the players are trying to. This is maybe even an adventure for one of the various other Western or Weird West games.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I can say that.
And like the Baron is almost like the GM's villain stand-in or whatever.
Yeah, I think
Do you
we
want
could
to
do
add
like a
another word to Monopoly to see if that
no.
makes
I
it?
mean, I think we could do like a Ryutama, like the GM creates their Baron as like a player character as well as the characters making their gunslingers or whatever Western heroes they make, and so like that defines what sort of
Yeah,
story they
like
tell.
how Fellowship works with the Overlord.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, put in another word. Let's reload because
Yeah,
these all suck. Banner.
Banner. That's a very boring word. How bad were the
Dem
other words you rejected?
can.
Can's bad. Banner is also rough though, because
No, I mean, I think like there could be an element of like organizing the towns to rise up against the evil Baron, and yeah, like can you get the unions on the western frontier to rise up against him or whatever?
yeah, I get what you mean. Maybe this also becomes some kind of like a area control kind of element.
Yeah,
Um, do you want to try a new set? I'll get a new genre. You get two new
yeah,
words,
okay,
maybe.
yeah. So our words are deer and pig.
Dear is in
The animal.
dear to whom it may concern, or dear
No,
and
like
pig. Okay, this
we.
is fun. The genre I've got is psychological horror.
Oh, so it's horse girl, but you turn it into a deer. Cool.
No, I think maybe you I think the interesting thing of doing psychological horror is like that's it's always an interesting thing about a lot of genres when you try and convert them to tabletop is like that kind of does have to focus on a singular experience. If there are multiple people in the same boat, that really lessens the ability for the horror to feel psychological. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, like, there's an element of like, oh, it's exposing your innermost thoughts, and like, oh my god, everyone's going to reject me now. You could play into.
Mm, yeah, I wonder if there's maybe like some kind of fun angle where like essentially like a free player game where one person is someone going through this psychological horror and then the other two players, maybe a four-player game with GM, but like the other two-player characters are an imaginary pig and deer who are trying to sort of guide them through this. But there's
Okay.
also maybe an implication of maybe they're magical.
Yeah. So the GM is the player going through this world, getting guidance from the deer and the pig characters.
Um, yeah, well, I think like that. Yeah, or I was actually saying like maybe it is four-player. Maybe there's person in the psychological horror, the imaginary animal companions, possibly magical,
Yeah.
and the GM, who like maybe the imaginary animals don't necessarily know whether they're imaginary or not, and the GM can
Yeah.
throw stuff out that's obscuring that or not obscuring that.
Okay.
Maybe there's maybe there's a thing about like the map and how like maybe something with like the character at some point can describe or draw parts of how a map is, and then like the GM will rewrite that in some way.
Yeah, and it becomes like a twisted version or whatever they suggested, and then like the deer and the pig player can like add things based on things on their playbook or something to the situation. It's like, oh, the deer gives assistance, but the pig hinders whatever the the bad thing in the world is, for example. And like, yeah, it the deer and the pig can help in the situation itself, but I think like then the player character has to work out how to get through whatever scenario they end up in based on the corruption of whatever they suggested.
Yeah, I mean, this has got a kind of interesting, like, twisted fairy tale vibe where it's like there's this ambiguity of is it a psychological horror? Is it some kind of like inverse portal fantasy thing? It's got a very sort of indie filmy quality as well. Do we have a name for
Yeah,
this at all?
I think just deer and pig.
Oh, or deer, pig, and girl. The girl, the pig, and the deer, or whatever.
The giraffe, the
I
Pelion
decided the
mane.
main character's a woman. Were you imagining them as a woman too?
I wasn't really imagining either.
Ah, maybe that means you're more progressive than me.
Yeah. Thank you for listening to Woke Soup.
um, yeah. Next weekend, by the way, if you're in London, I'll be at Dragon Meet.
I
So
won't.
please come and say hi. Yeah, play won't. But tell me if you like the podcast, and I'll pass on the message. And otherwise, laters.
Bye.